Breaking. Man United ready to match Newcastle's £70 million Sesko bid as bidding war erupts. Welcome back to United News, where we bring you the fastest and most reliable Manchester United transfer updates. The Benjamin Sesko transfer saga just got a whole lot more intense, and we've got all the details you need to know right now. In a dramatic twist that sent shockwaves through the football world, Manchester United are now ready to match Newcastle's massive £70 million offer for RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko. But here's the kicker: Newcastle's opening bid has already been rejected, and Leipzig are apparently welcoming a full-blown bidding war between the two Premier League giants. If you thought the Sesko situation couldn't get any crazier, think again. With his agent flying to Leipzig for emergency talks and both clubs preparing improved offers, this transfer battle is about to reach fever pitch. Newcastle's £70 million bid gets rejected. Here's why. Let's start with the bombshell news that broke recently. Newcastle United made their opening move on Saturday with a massive bid worth €75 million plus €5 million in bonuses. That's a total package of around £70 million. But here's what nobody saw coming: Leipzig said no. You might be wondering how a club can reject £70 million for any player, but the reasons make perfect sense when you dig deeper. According to Ben Jacobs, Newcastle's €75 million fixed fee actually met Leipzig's asking price. So why did they turn it down? It all comes down to the structure of the deal. Leipzig weren't happy with how Newcastle wanted to pay the money. The German club wants more favorable payment terms. Basically, they want more money upfront rather than spread out over several years. Leipzig also wants a sell-on clause included in any deal. This means they'd get a percentage of any future transfer fee if Sesko moves again later in his career. For a young player like Sesko, who could potentially be worth even more in a few years, this makes business sense for Leipzig. This is exactly the same approach Leipzig took with Arsenal earlier this summer. The Gunners tried to negotiate for Sesko but couldn't agree on the deal structure, which eventually led them to sign Victor Gyökeres instead. Man United ready to strike back. Now here's where things get really interesting for Manchester United fans. Sky Germany reporter Philip Hinze has revealed that United are ready to match Newcastle's offer. This means United could soon put €80 million, around £70 million, on the table to try and win the race for Sesko. But they're being smart about it. United are waiting for Sesko to decide which club he wants to join before submitting their formal offer. Why is this approach clever? Well, there's no point spending all that money if the player doesn't want to come to Old Trafford. United have learned from past mistakes where they've chased players who weren't really interested in joining. The good news for United fans is that multiple reports suggest Sesko would prefer to join United over Newcastle. Despite not being able to offer Champions League football this season, the player is apparently attracted to United's stature and Ruben Amorim's vision for the club. Leipzig welcome bidding war. Here's something you don't hear every day: RB Leipzig are actually hoping for a bidding war between United and Newcastle. Think about it from Leipzig's perspective. They have a valuable asset in Sesko, and two rich Premier League clubs are fighting over him. The more they bid against each other, the more money Leipzig can make. This situation could see the final price go well above that initial £70 million mark. If United and Newcastle start outbidding each other, Leipzig could end up getting £80 million, £90 million, or even more for their striker. It's a smart position for Leipzig to be in, but it's expensive news for whichever club eventually wins the race. The agent's emergency trip to Leipzig. Things are moving fast in this transfer saga. Sesko's agent traveled to Leipzig last night for what are being described as crunch talks with the club. These discussions are still continuing, which suggests that major decisions are being made right now. The agent will be trying to understand Leipzig's exact demands and figure out which offer gives his client the best chance of making his preferred move. For United fans, this is a crucial time. If Sesko's camp can convince Leipzig that United's offer structure is better than Newcastle's, then the deal could swing in United's favor. Newcastle preparing to improve their bid. Newcastle aren't giving up without a fight. According to Ben Jacobs, the Magpies are prepared to improve their bid to try and secure Sesko's signature. There's apparently optimism at Newcastle that they can agree on both a fee and payment structure with Leipzig, despite the threat from Manchester United. This makes sense from Newcastle's perspective. They've already invested time and effort in pursuing Sesko, and they have Champions League football to offer this season. They won't want to lose out to United without putting up a proper fight. The question is, how high are Newcastle willing to go? And can they structure their improved offer in a way that satisfies Leipzig's demands? What Leipzig actually want. Understanding what Leipzig want from this deal is crucial to predicting how it might end. First, they want their asking price met. That seems to be around 75 to 80 million euros based on the reports. Second, they want favorable payment terms. This likely means more money upfront rather than spread over many years. Football clubs prefer getting cash quickly rather than waiting for installments. Third, they want a sell-on clause. This protects them if Sesko becomes an even bigger star and moves for huge money in the future. Fourth, they want the overall package to be structured properly. It's not just about the total amount, it's about when the money gets paid and what conditions are attached. These demands aren't unreasonable, but they do make the negotiation more complex than just agreeing on a transfer fee. Why Sesko might choose United over Newcastle. Despite Newcastle's advantages, like Champions League football and potentially fewer financial constraints, there are several reasons why Sesko might prefer Manchester United. First, United are simply a bigger club globally. The history, the fan base, the worldwide recognition, these things still matter to players, especially young ones who dream of playing for the biggest clubs. Second, Ruben Amorim's reputation as a coach who develops young talent could be attractive to Sesko. The Portuguese manager has a track record of improving players and helping them reach the next level. Third, United's long-term project might appeal more than Newcastle's shorter-term ambitions. While Newcastle have wealthy owners and are building something special, United are still seen as one of the traditional powerhouses of world football. Fourth, playing for United could boost Sesko's international profile and commercial value in ways that Newcastle might not be able to match. The Arsenal warning. There's an important lesson in Arsenal's failed pursuit of Sesko that both United and Newcastle should pay attention to. Arsenal were strongly linked with Sesko both last summer and this summer. They held talks with the player and his representatives, but couldn't agree on personal terms or deal structure with Leipzig. Eventually, Arsenal got frustrated with the complexity of the negotiations and moved for Viktor Gyökeres instead. This shows that Leipzig are tough negotiators who won't compromise on their demands. Both United and Newcastle need to be prepared for difficult negotiations. If they're not willing to meet Leipzig's exact requirements, they could end up like Arsenal walking away empty-handed. The timeline factor. Time is becoming a crucial factor in this transfer saga. With the new Premier League season starting soon, both United and Newcastle will want to get their business done quickly. Players need time to settle in, learn new systems, and build relationships with teammates. The longer this drags on, the less impact Sesko will have in his first season at his new club. Leipzig also want resolution soon so they can plan for their own season. If they're losing Sesko, they need time to find and sign a replacement. Financial fair play considerations. Both United and Newcastle need to be careful about financial fair play regulations when making such a big signing. United have already spent significant money this summer on players like Matheus Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo. Adding another £70+ million for Sesko would represent massive investment in their attack. Newcastle have their own PSR considerations to think about. They've been careful about their spending in recent windows to stay within the rules. Both clubs will need to structure any Sesko deal carefully to ensure they don't run into regulatory problems. What this means for other positions. If United do spend £70+ million on Sesko, it will likely impact their ability to strengthen other areas of the squad. The defense and midfield also need attention, but if all the budget goes on attackers, those problems might have to wait until future transfer windows. This is always the dilemma for clubs with limited budgets. Do you spend big on one star player or spread the money across multiple positions? The domino effect. A Sesko signing could trigger other moves in the transfer market. If Newcastle lose out on Sesko, they might turn their attention to other striker targets. If United get him, they might be more willing to sell players like Rasmus Højlund or others. Leipzig will definitely need to sign a replacement if Sesko leaves, which could create opportunities for other strikers looking for moves. Fan expectations and pressure. Both sets of fans are now watching this transfer saga very closely, and expectations are building. United fans have been disappointed by transfer failures in recent years, so missing out on another top target would be very frustrating. Newcastle fans have been waiting for a marquee signing to show the club's ambition, and Sesko would certainly fit that bill. The pressure is on both clubs to get this deal done, but they can't let that pressure lead them into overpaying or agreeing to bad terms. The next 48 hours. Based on all the reports and developments, the next 48 hours could be crucial in determining where Sesko ends up. His agent's talks with Leipzig are ongoing, which suggests decisions are being made right now. United are waiting to hear from the player before submitting their bid, while Newcastle are preparing an improved offer. Something has to give soon, and it could all be resolved very quickly once the key decisions are made. Conclusion: a transfer battle for the ages. This Benjamin Sesko transfer saga has all the ingredients of a classic transfer battle. Two big clubs, lots of money, complex negotiations, and a talented young player at the center of it all. Manchester United's readiness to match Newcastle's £70 million offer shows they're serious about getting their man. But Newcastle's determination to improve their bid proves they won't give up easily. Leipzig are in the enviable position of having two clubs fighting over their player, and they're clearly planning to squeeze every penny out of the situation. For United fans, this is a crucial test of the club's transfer strategy under the new ownership. Can they compete with other big clubs for the best players? Can they structure deals in ways that satisfy selling clubs? Can they convince top targets to choose Old Trafford over other attractive options? The answers to these questions will become clear very soon. This Sesko situation isn't just about signing one player. It's about showing that Manchester United are back as a serious force in the transfer market. We'll continue following every development in this story here at Unite United News. When bids get submitted, when decisions get made, when the deal gets done, you'll hear about it here first. That's what we do. We bring you the most important Manchester United transfer news as it happens, with the analysis and context you need to understand what it all means. Stay tuned, because this Sesko saga is far from over. The next few days could determine not just where he plays next season, but also whether Manchester United can still compete with the biggest clubs for the biggest players.